oh please, won't you stick around? I don't want to say goodbye when the sun goes down. I want to keep you close, want to hold you tight. I don't ever want to say goodnight, won't you stick around?
Alright, so today we are going to be checking out the UCX24 from UDIRC. And this one is definitely an interesting one. So let's just dive into the review so you can decide if this is actually something that you wanted to buy with your hard-earned cash. Alright, so straight out of the box, you can see that the UCX2401 does have a hard shell body, which the paint job on this thing is just really nice. You can see that they're getting most of the details, and you know, this just doesn't look like those kind of cheaper plastic kind of like type of cars, and this stuff looks pretty scaled. The only thing that I'm really unsure is that I don't know like what type of cars this was based on. If you know, you can please tell me down below at the bottom section. I do think that this is kind of like an older fashioned trucks, but not kind of like something that is more recent. And I do hope that it's a Jeep, but it's fine. It's okay, whatever is whatever. This is kind of like it's still super cool. As for the tires wise, you can see that the tire is going to be coming on as a regular slip on. So yeah, they're not going to be B-lock tires, and there's going to be no foams in it, but they are pretty soft, which is pretty good, and they do feel pretty grippy. So I do think that this is actually going to give us a pretty good performance. In addition to the hard shell body, one of the really nice design I do like is that it does have like clipless design for you to kind of remove the top shell really easy. All you have to do is just kind of like pull these two levers, and they're just going to be coming off directly at the top shell. So this is just super easy, and I really like this design because like I just hate screws when you have to do that. For like larger cars, it just takes forever to get everything off. So once the body has been removed, we can look at what is inside. You will get a 130 brush motor, which offers decent slow and high-speed performance. And if you are craving for even more power, you will have the option to upgrade this to brushless directly. And I do think that there are going to be some like model kits that you can just buy directly from the UDIRC website. The UCX24 also comes equipped with 2-speed gearbox, which is thus not often seen in this price range. You will be able to get like pretty good slow speed modulation when you're just on the lower gear, and if you switch to the higher gear, which is going to be the thing that is actually surprising me, because it's going to turn this crawler into like a semi kind of like drift race car. It's just so fast, and it is kind of something that I just didn't see that anybody was doing, but UCX is kind of the first one. You will be able to get like a really high speed after you switch to the low gear, and a really nice performance when you switch to the lower gear. So very nice. Also worth to mention is that you are also getting oil filter shocks, which is also something that is rarely seen in this kind of price range. And I do think that the tuning of this is actually pretty good. It's not like you have to like, you know, after even you're getting oil filter shocks, sometimes you just have to tune it to make it nicer. But this one, I do think that the default tune is actually pretty good already. So as you can see right here, it does actually give you some sort of like tuning right here. If you add some a little bit weight, it's actually, I think it's going to perform even better. As for the battery, you will be getting a 2S300 mAh LiPo that uses a standard JST plug to power up the truck and to charge. This is good, as this will allow you to use like better charger like the Wi-Fi 2-stir to charge up your LiPo instead of using the crap that mostly the people that actually give you. You know, this is actually going to be a really nice design that I really enjoy having. Also, like everything is going to be wrapped up for you, so you can see that this car overall very optimized in the inner section. Alright, so next let's bring out the remote so we can quickly test out to see the functions and what it actually offers. This is going to be a remote that is actually coming with tons of features, so I just wanted to also show you that. Okay, so to power this thing on, very simple. All you needed to do is press this button right here, power it up first. And as for the UCX24, press right here. There's going to be a button on the bottom. Just kind of like press and hold until you see the lights light up. Yep, sometimes it does take a few tries. Okay, here we go. Wait, I think I just powered it on, powered it off. Wait. All right, here we go. That's gonna be activating it. Nope, it's not. I wish this is just an on-off switch, like easier. Okay, here we go. This time we finally got it. Okay, so for any type of truck, any RC, and if you're spending some sort of money, you should be getting like full proportional steering and throttle. So yeah, this one, no, it's not going to be any difference for this one. You're also going to be getting that. Okay, so you can see for proportional, you can reverse, you can advance. So yeah, it's going to be standard. As for like how you switching the gear button is actually right here. So you just have to switch. This is going to be a lower gear on the left, on the full left right here. This is going to be lower gear, and this is going to be the top speed that it can go. And if we put it on the bench, it's going to be like this. So it's going to be perfect for crawling. All right, so in the middle, you will be able to switch this as well, but this is actually going to be kind of like your neutral in your like real car. So you can see that it's not going to be engaging the tires at all. As for if you switch it to the top, this is going to be the fast gear. So I'm not going to drive this on this thing because it's actually super fast. Let me just let you hear this out. So you can see that this is super fast for a crawler. Okay, so as for the rest of the functions that you can see that you are going to get like fast trim. So I believe this is going, you're actually going to get like tire servo trim. It's going to be this one. So you will be able to adjust your tires. So let me just put it right here so you can see that you can adjust the middle of your tire to make sure that it's centered properly. As for the second button, this is going to be your steering drive rate, so which means that you will be able to use this to determine how much steering that you want. Let's actually see if that's correct. This is going to be the max. The max is going to be about 30 degrees. Okay, if we switch it all the way down. Okay, so you can see that we are not getting any steering. So generally, let's just keep it all the way up so it's easier. All right, next let's actually look at the RST trim. This is going to be the tricky one because this car, like the ultimate upgrade package, that you will be able to also add steering at your like rear tires, and this one button is going to be the one that is actually going to be controlling that. So as we don't have anything, so this button is not going to work on a particular vehicle. All right, so next it's going to be our standard throttle trim. So this is going to be throttle. So you can see that this is going to be something that you wanted to make sure that is properly centered, because if it's not properly centered, this is what you're going to be doing, because right now the throttle is kind of centered on the remote right here. But if you adjust it, the car is just going to believe that it's no longer centered, so it's going to move front. It's going to move like forward or backwards. So it can also use this if you wanted to do like automated driving. You can see that if we kind of like turn it, it's going to move itself. But if you kind of like turn it on the backwards, it's also going to be doing the same thing. So yep, very, very interesting. So yep, at least you know that you can do auto drive with this thing. And also, if you wanted to do like throttle reverse or like steering reverse, these are the two buttons that you will want to press. So once you engage these kind of reverse, these two buttons are just going to be like reverse right now. So if we wanted to backwards, they have to do like that. So yeah, something that you can do as an option. Same thing for the drive. All right, it's going to be the same thing for the steering. Yep. All right, so the last button on here is going to be the button, biggest button right here. This is going to be the button that will allow you to engage your like headlights and not. So far, these are going to be the only lights that is actually supporting at the moment. I don't think there is going to be any brake lights. Let's just look. I don't think there's any brake lights, so that's going to be something that you probably will have to upgrade yourself. All right, so that's going to be it out for the standard controls on the bench test. And now let's actually just put it on the floor. Let's actually and like our head right now, so I'll try to see if I can cross somewhere like around the complex, so you know, just have some fun. All right, so since we're not at home at the moment, I don't have my regular crawler course, so I'm just going to run it through these kind of like coasters and to see how the oscillation going. And yeah, I'm just not going to be talking, so you can actually enjoy the truck. Alright, so next let's quickly see how good it actually do on the slope, as we have a really nice, like for more than 45 degree, I would say, kind of like stair rail. So let's actually give it a test. Next, let's put the UCX24 to the higher gear. Let's see how fast it can go. This is just crazily fast. you won't be able to keep it unless you're gonna run. So yep, it's very hard to like film this truck because you have to chase it, and you have to also make sure your camera is like in center. So, but definitely this is a fun rig. I'm liking it so far. Next, I'm actually just going to be pulling you back to my bench so we can do some regular like bench tests to see how good it actually drives on like the obstacles that we are doing. So these are going to be UDIRC like obstacles that you can buy from Amazon or like from AliExpress, and they are pretty good. I think there's going to be perfect for like indoor driving and perfect for 24 scale and 18 scale trucks. All right, let's give it a UCX a test on these obstacles. All right, so this is going to be the first and probably the most easiest object. I don't think it's going to have a problem competing it. I think this one just depends on how slow we can crawl on this thing. Okay, not bad. Okay, let's backwards. I think this is the slowest we can go. Wow, the slow capability is actually not bad. Okay, let's add a little bit more throttle. Okay, here we go. Not bad. Alright, so this is the second one. Shouldn't be hard as well. Alright, so we're going to start with this third hardest object. The slow crawl capability is really not bad. Alright, let's do it again. Alright, this time we're just going to let it drive by itself. So we're going to engage some with the throttle. A little bit more. Punch it. Alright, so last one is probably going to be the hardest one because this one does take a really nice control to get it passed through. Right, so not a problem at all. So actually it's doing really well. Alright, so that's going to be about it for the bench test. You can see that the UCX actually did pretty well, and I see that this is actually going to be a pretty good stuff for the price that we're actually talking about. Yeah, it has a slower gear and a higher gear, you know, just kind of like, it's just a really fun truck to get. So next, just enjoy some trail runs with California like pine woods.